Have you ever watched your whole world burn down in slow motion? I saw the first flicker not in a raging fire, but in the screen of my wife's phone, glowing in the dark of our Chicago bedroom. It was 2 a.m. Her back was to me, but the angle of her head, the slight, almost imperceptible tremor in her hand as she typed. It was a language I didn't know we spoke. The message on the screen vanished as she shifted, but not before I saw a name I didn't recognize and a single damning phrase, like the landscaper saw. It was a question that hung in the air between us for weeks, a ghost I couldn't grasp. That was the moment I knew the life I had was already a memory. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Jessica was my everything. We'd built a life in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago, in a house with a sprawling green lawn she was obsessed with. She was a successful art dealer, moving in circles I could barely comprehend. All sleek galleries and champagne-fueled auctions on Michigan Avenue. I was a high school history teacher, content with my books and my quiet life. We were, I thought, the perfect balance. But something had shifted. It started with the little things. Her phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, was now permanently attached to her hip. She started working late. Client dinners that left her smelling of a cologne that wasn't mine, and a vague, dismissive exhaustion. When I'd ask, her answers were clipped, coated in a layer of condescending pity. "Don't be so needy, David. It's just work." The woman I married, the one who'd laugh at my dumb jokes and hold my hand in the car, was being replaced by a cold, polished stranger. The villains in this story, my wife and her lover, felt untouchable, wrapped in a bubble of arrogance and deceit. The humiliation was a slow-acting poison. It began with a missed anniversary. I'd booked a table at our favorite spot, a little Italian place on Rush Street. I sat there for 2 hours, nursing a glass of wine, the pitying looks from the waiter burning holes in my skin. She finally texted at 10 p.m. "So sorry, lost track of time. Client emergency." There was no apology in her voice when she got home, just annoyance that I was still awake. The emotional breakdown wasn't a single, dramatic event. It was 1,000 tiny cuts. It was me, standing in our pristine, silent kitchen at midnight, eating cold leftovers from a dinner I'd made for two, the silence of the house screaming at me. I looked in the mirror and saw a ghost, a hollowed-out man haunted by the suspicion that he was a fool. That's when the grief turned to ice in my veins. The sadness curdled into a cold, hard resolve. I wasn't going to be a victim. I was going to be a strategist. My first move was to hire a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop, who operated out of a dusty office in the Loop. While he dug into her financials and phone records, I started my own investigation. The landscaper. The text had mentioned him. His name was Mark, a handsome, smug guy in his late 20s who Jessica had hired. "He has a real vision for the garden," she'd said. I started paying attention. Every Tuesday, like clockwork, his truck would be there. Every Tuesday, Jessica would work from home. I installed a small, discreet security camera, the kind designed to look like a birdhouse, and aimed it at the back patio. The first Tuesday I watched the footage, my heart hammered against my ribs. I saw them. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a desperate, hungry embrace right there on the patio furniture I'd assembled myself. The betrayal was so blatant, so brazen, it stole the air from my lungs. The PI's report confirmed it all. Hotel rooms booked on a secret credit card. Lavish gifts. Dinners at places I could never afford. She was building a new life, and I was funding my own destruction. The trap had to be perfect, a masterpiece of social, legal, and emotional devastation. Jessica's biggest gallery event of the year was approaching a showcase for a new artist she'd discovered. Her entire world would be there, her clients, her colleagues, her boss, her parents. It was the perfect stage. Legally, I had everything. My lawyer, a shark in a $1,000 suit, had the PI's report, the video footage, and the financial statements. We filed for divorce on the grounds of adultery, timing the official service for the day of the party. Socially, I prepared a little slideshow. The centerpiece was a crystal-clear image from the birdhouse camera, taken on a sunny Tuesday afternoon. The night of the party, I played my part. I was the doting, supportive husband, smiling and shaking hands. Jessica was in her element, a queen holding court draped in a glittering gown. At the peak of the evening, she took the stage to give her speech, thanking everyone for their support. As she spoke, the large screen behind her, which had been displaying the artist's work, flickered. And then, there it was, the photo. Jessica and Mark, on our patio, locked in an embrace. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Her smile froze, her face draining of all color. She went pale, her eyes darting from the screen to me, standing at the back of the room. I just held her gaze, my expression unreadable. Then, a man in a suit moved through the stunned silence and handed her a legal envelope. The divorce papers. Her mother gasped. Her boss's face was a mask of fury. It was a symphony of destruction. She was ruined utterly and completely in a single, silent moment. She stumbled off the stage, the whispers of the crowd following her like a plague. The house is sold now. I live in a small apartment in the city, overlooking the river. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that final image of her at the party, her perfect world crumbling around her. There was no shouting, no screaming, just a quiet, haunting silence as her life burned to the ground. She lost her job, her reputation, and a significant portion of her assets in the divorce. I heard she moved out of state, trying to escape the fallout. The ending wasn't a celebration, it was an execution. I poured myself a drink, the ice clinking in the glass like a distant bell, and realized the loudest sound in my new life was the peace. The end.